Well, welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Pro Cup. We're just about ready for our first match of the event, and there is #1 player Shane Thompson sitting waiting to get this match underway up against Neil Raybone. And delighted to say, joining me in the commentary box, 6 times world champion Mick Hill. Good morning, Mick.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
We were just saying this should be an absolutely fascinating match. 2 very high quality players to get us underway. And it is a dry break from Neil Raybone, which means the #1 player, Shane Thompson, will get the first opportunity. He actually hits the break really clean. Unfortunate not to make a ball on this occasion.
Yeah, I think the last red just rolled in it near this bottom right-hand corner could be tricky for Shane.
Yeah, just the one bad ball really on the table, but as you say, it's tricky to land there.
Yeah, he's got a couple of options here. He's a decent angle to drop on it now by potting the one bottom left. He could also go back there and get back there at the end of the pattern, if you like, but I think he's going to play there now. He may even move it, depending on the angle.
That will do. Was probably playing for a thicker contact, but he's nudged it so it goes now.
Yeah, a little bit of good news, bad news. Of course, he's knocked the red on. A little bit restricted with what he can do with the cue ball, so it'll just be dropping it in, I would think.
Choices to the top left, though.
Yeah, key shot here, Simon. He'd love to play the one top left and land on the one on the right-hand side here. He can edge his bet somewhat because he's always going to have a ball to the left centre, but he'd love to get on that one, and he has. That's a super shot.
Oh, as you say before, good news, bad news. Yes, he's on the red to the top right, but he's blocked the 8 ball to the right centre, which would have been his first choice at the beginning of this visit.
He looks good out there. Straight away, though, he looks really confident and comfortable.
He's a player that's made the table his own this year, though, hasn't he? Really, he's been so dominant through the Pro Series, winning 3 events, making the final of 4. He just looks so comfortable out there, just in complete control of everything he's doing.
Yeah. So this one in the centre, and then, of course, the last red in the centre. Just off straight, I think he'd like it. Oh, has he come at him? He's just okay. He's come a hair further than what he would like, but I think he's good.
Looks to be absolutely straight back to where his hand is now. It's not an absolute dolly of a 8 ball for the first frame of the tournament, but this is to get his tournament up and running.
He's scared of the scratch bottom right.
Right in the heart of the pocket. Great first visit to the table by Shane Thompson. Lovely reverse clearance. Takes a 1-0 lead. It is a race to 7 frames. 40 minutes on the match clock. 30 seconds a shot. So getting off to a good start. Punishing the dry break from Neil Raybone.
Yeah, once again, he started where he left off from last season. Straight in. Dry break from Neil. Those reds were far from easy. And, in all truth, made them look like they were hangers. Yeah,
the 2 or 3, well, 2 big problems, but I had to negotiate a tricky 8 ball as well. But this is the season he's had. This is exactly what we've been talking about, that top line there on the achievements. 3 times Pro Series event winner. #1 ranked player, which is a huge achievement for anybody. And Shane Thompson is the #1. Now has his first break in the match. Didn't quite hit that one as clean as Neil, but the same result in dry.
Yeah, and at this level, Shane would see that more as a miss-hit than being kind of unlucky not to make a ball. I think sometimes the confusion can be that it's unlucky if you don't make a ball or so, but he didn't hit them anywhere near as well as he would have liked.
So Neil's choice is to take on the yellows. ones at the top look nice and open. It's just those two to the bottom right. If you can get through to the one, there you go, straight away. Sort of chance you'd like at the start of a match. Get yourself going.
He's just got to mind his work. I'm sure he would have liked to have played bottom right again there. But no big drama at this stage. There's plenty of balls to land on.
The table is, as always plays very, very quickly, very responsive.
Yeah, he may be tempted with top right here. Depends how he feels. I'm sure if this was further into the match, no, he's going to take it anyway. Maybe drift across to the same pocket, or unless he can hold it. Yeah, play to drift across to the same pocket.
He would have loved another roll or two on that one across the table. This is slightly awkward being close to it, but also it looks like it's a slightly awkward angle.
Yeah, he's just fractionally chasing a touch here, isn't he? He may have to play bottom right here. I'm sure he doesn't want to, but he may have to.
If he has to play for bottom right, it could mean the one in the middle of the table, as easy as it looks, becomes a slight problem to get on.
Absolutely, yeah. He's got to mind his work here. Oh, he's played that lovely.
Yeah, really didn't want to play the shot that we talked about. Wanted to be on this one in the middle of the table, and absolutely is on it perfectly. So he's worked these really well. This 8-ball to respond with a reverse clearance of his own. And no mistakes. What a start to this match. Both players with the clearances from each other's break, and we're all tied up at 1 frame all. A long way to go in this match, but both players have now settled down and are into the match. Let's have a look at Neil's profile. Talked about in the studio, he didn't have the season he wanted. By his high standards, a very poor season. Ranked 29th, his best result being the quarterfinals of the Pro Series 5. But when you look at his achievements, 2011 Masters champion, 2019 European champion, he's a former #1. Multiple professional titles to his name. He really is a player that's been right at the top of the game for a long time, and I know that you know him very well.
Yeah, I've known Neil since he's been 12, playing in the West Midlands junior team together for a couple of years.
Neil's always struck me as a sort of player that it always takes a very... Oh, he's very unlucky there as he gets kicked in off to the top left. So it'll be Shane with another opportunity. But just to finish what I was saying on Neil, he's always struck me as a sort of player that very rarely loses to somebody that he shouldn't. He's very consistent, always plays at a high level, and it takes a very good performance normally to knock him out.
Yeah, that's true, and I'm fairly certain there's not 28 players better than him on this series currently. But yeah, we're all finding our feet somewhat, and you know the draw plays a part, and you know little nudges here and there can make a big difference. Just as we saw there, you know, he hit the balls well and gets knocked into the top left-hand corner. You know, it's some things you just can't legislate for.
I'd say he's hit both his breaks perfectly so far, and he's had no joy of it whatsoever. Interesting decision for me to see Shane go yellows. I think the plant at the bottom of the table must be a fairly comfortable shot for him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the way those two yellows actually sit. It's a little bit tricky on our screen in terms of what he can actually do with the cue ball in making the plant. I mean, I expect him to get the plant, but it's uncertain what he can do with the cue ball, from our angle anyway.
Oh, he's overhit his positional shot this time, and that's very awkward. Made just about, he's got just enough gap between the cue ball and the yellow still to make this ball, but very difficult.
It's strange as well, I must be honest, when I see Shane lose the cue ball out there on that table, I'm almost shocked, to be quite honest with you, because his cue ball is superb.
It's an excellent recovery pot, but is he on this yellow to the right centre? It's very tight.
Body language suggests not, without actually seeing the overhead.
So another look at this pot down the cushion. And the overhead shows us that he's not on this yellow. So that will be his chance over. And Neil Raybone already up and ready for his shot.
But as like you there, I mean, there was a big case for reds there, wasn't there, from the off?
Yeah, just had that one red on the bottom cushion for me that was awkward, but there was just about enough room to play on it.
I guess the beauty of going yellows was if you did actually break down, you are still very much in play.
Yeah.
You know, it's still very much in the game. With the red ball options, once you started potting the red balls off the table, if you didn't actually clear, the yellows got better and better, you know, the more reds that disappeared, you know. So
for me, I know we're probably looking at fine margins, but I think if this match goes into this sort of territory where we're looking at tactical battles, I think I'd give Neil the edge. He's got such a good all-round game. If it's a wide open contest, I think Shane's absolutely flying and isn't going to miss too many of his opportunities. So I don't think Neil will be too disappointed to see frames going like this.
Well, I think as Shane alluded to, you know, towards the end of last season, he's played a lot of lockdown pool and, you know, played a lot of the challenges online, and it does become a little bit kind of you versus you in terms of breaking the balls, and, you know, you either clear the balls or you don't clear the balls. Neil would probably see himself more as what I would say a traditional pool player, where he'd like it to get a little bit messy from time to time, so he can feel like he can get his teeth into it, you know. A bit more old school, if you like.
Yeah, I agree with you. I always think that when it comes to Neil Raybone, if his decisions to play tactical and slow things down, then it invariably is the right decision, the percentage play. And if it's the right time to go for it, he tends to pick it. I don't think he'll be disappointed. Obviously, with this being a Shane Thompson first visit chance, he'll be happy to see this, but I think if a few frames go like this, I don't think he'll be too disappointed. But like you, Mick, the big surprise for me is this has come off a positional error from Shane Thompson. It feels like that's the first time we've seen that for 6 months.
Yeah, we can sort of start to take things for granted, can't we? You know, like we're expecting him to get out every time he gets to the table, which is a little bit unfair, I guess. But that's due to his own success and his own performances. And Neil just nudged this off the top rail and pushed the yellow away. Well, that's what he intended. That's a very, very poor shot, that, from Neil.
He's left an opportunity.
Yeah, he'll be very disappointed with that. I wonder if Shane can come down the table and play the yellow in off the yellow. That's what he's looking at. Can he get there?
If he takes that option, it's a big shot, though, isn't it? Opens everything up on reds if he doesn't make it.
And Neil played a shot that he didn't really need to play there, to be quite honest with you. Tried to come 2/3 cushions to cannon it out.
I think that's the first sign of brand new cloth on the table. Watch the cue ball, he's playing this with it at right hand side as well. Gets more slide off the cushion than he was expecting.
Didn't need the side, did he?
Didn't need the side at all.
As it happened, he didn't need the side. Did he touch? I believe so.
Have to hit a cushion after contact with your object ball, which he just about managed.
And I think going back to Neil's tactical play, he was probably grounded a little bit more than Shane with league pool with the olden day rules. you know, with growing up in Wolverhampton and playing with the older guard, you know, was very much safety first, cover the pocket, make sure you win your frame, and you know, the lads would be quick enough to give it a ticking off if you played the wrong shot, so to speak.
You have to earn every opportunity. You can't just go gung-ho at all.
That's right.
All the way through. That little nudge is going to allow him to have access to the red on the bottom cushion in a couple of shots' time. Not easy next shot, though, with a hampered queuing.
But the modern day player does seem to think attack first nowadays, you know. That needs to get moving. Just got there. Just got there. So I'll look to him to play 2 cushions here, is it, Simon, with just a trace of left-hand side?
Yeah, he's not looking to do anything more than land straight on the next ball.
Slightly careless.
Yeah, it's just got an angle where he's going into that yellow now. The natural angle's going into the yellow, I should say.
I think he's okay, but he'd love to have been straighter on this ball. Yeah, that wasn't the bad shot. That wasn't the bad shot. The shot before, he was a little careless not to leave himself straighter.
Big shot, this one coming up then.
He wouldn't be the tallest of players, Neil. Be interested to see if he can actually get to this.
Yeah, he's having to cue this awkwardly underneath his body. Very tricky. Oh, he's touch fortunate because it's a brand new cloth that slid in off the jaw. And the cue ball's just run that fraction too far as well.
Maybe just a trace of right-hand side just to avoid the right-hand centre pocket as we look. And it's there.
Well, he got the job done. A couple of issues with the cue ball over that last couple of shots, but he'll be happy that he's got it on the board, and almost feels like, or he'll feel like he's stolen one away from Shane there, because it felt like Shane was just going to mop up with another clearance from the break, but positional error. Let's take another look at it. Oh, this is the safety error from Neil Raybone,
yeah,
which
he
gave
didn't
Shane
need to
the
play
chance.
It, did he? He didn't need to play it.
Yeah, he didn't need to play that, but he was fortunate that Shane didn't make the most of that opportunity, and the poor shot that followed it, where he didn't judge the slide off the cushion very well. So we're back on serve, if you like. It's because it's Shane's break, 2-1 down. Players at this level do think in those sort of terms, back themselves to make a ball off the break and clear up. That's
nice.
much better break from Shane Thompson this time.
That's excellent break. Neil just tapping his leg there in appreciation for the break. Very sporting.
Amazing to see how much the cue ball's spinning on its spot.
Yeah, which shows that he didn't hit them as flush as what you might think. He imparted a little bit of unwanted spin.
One of the big things that's impressed me throughout 2021 with Shane Thompson, obviously the 3 titles, and we sort of in jest say it feels like he never plays a positional error, but when he does make a mistake, which has been rare this year, it's just water off the duck's back. He doesn't think about it. It's just straight on to the next chance and completely forgets about it. His temperament has become absolutely rock solid out there.
The thing I like about his game is he's very kind of what I call dot to dot. He's not moving anything or crashing into anything unless there's any real need. I mean, even the first shot there, I mean, he could have nudged up and bumped the red over the middle. Chose to leave it there, and back himself to get a good angle, which he.
Yeah, these last 2 balls at the bottom left are awkward. They don't connect up very well.
Yeah, and again, you know, playing for the gap here, it's such confidence in your control. I feel like, you know, that many players may have come down and maybe tried to move one of these first, you know.
but he backs his cue ball over that. We just saw
Absolutely.
Carl Sutton in the crowd there. We'll be seeing him in action later on this week.
Now this is one of those where he may actually bump into his own red ball, just from a control element. There we go.
Lovely shot.
I just thought I'd get that in there, seeing as I said he never cans any balls when you don't have to. But that was one of those that on your screen.
Yeah, they just didn't connect up very well. So
no.
Little bump just to control it, but it's the perfect bump as well. If he catches that a little bit thinner either side, it can become awkward.
Played that brave.
Yeah, really punched it in. Actually overran the cue ball a fraction, but he's still comfortable on the 8 ball. And no mistakes with the 8 ball, and another clearance from the break. This time a break clearance for Shane Thompson. We're all tied up at 2-2. Another excellent visit, and that's what Shane Thompson has been doing all year long.
Very clinical player.
Yeah, I think I like the way you called it. There's very simple patterns, keeps the cue ball very minimal effort of the amount the cue ball's going to move, tries to keep it very controlled, very tight. Very rarely see him flying around with the cue ball trying to make things happen.
He just looks so confident with the equipment and everything that's going on out there, and Neil's kind of getting over the line, to chalk his frames on the board, but in truth not quite as clinical, in fairness.
Neil Raybone to break.
Yeah, and I think one of the aspects of that, Neil hasn't had the table time in the main match arena this year that he would have liked, and certainly that Shane has had.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. I think that's a great point.
Well, this time Neil does it. How strange is this game? It's the first time of his 3 breaks, that's the one he's hit the worst, and the first time he's made a ball. Gets this one all wrong.
And just take a look at those reds. Wow. And that's the fascinating part of our game, folks, at home. You can appear to hit them so well and not get rewarded, and then sometimes not hit them quite as well.
Yeah, the reason I was saying he didn't hit that well, the cue ball's just running a little bit loose. We saw from his first 2 breaks, he's trying to control that cue ball up the middle of the table and keep it nice and controlled, limit the chances of it going in off. But this one, he catches that front ball just off square and brings the middle pockets into play.
We didn't want to play this one first, though. Oh, Neil.
Red ball's in play.
He may have just about got away with that. He really wanted to play the one top right first, and I'm curious. It must have been a little bit thinner on our screen for him out there than it was on our screen, because he definitely didn't want to have to play that shot he played.
Yeah, and this is awkward. Can't do much more than just drop this one in. Yeah, not a surprise to see that miss. Really awkward queuing over the yellow. Hasn't left anything easy for Shane Thompson, though.
Yeah, what do you like here, Simon? What do you...
Extension call.
Not a lot. Normally in this situation, you're looking for a chance to get in and take these on. The 2 yellows are obviously awkward on the left-hand side, but might just have to find a hiding place and wait for a better opportunity. May take this on to the bottom right, though. Cued that
pot.
Beautifully.
Great pot.
Maybe forced into the safety now. I would say if he's going to play safe, you'd love to play safe off the 2 yellows to open them up, but that's a very delicate shot he'd have to play in doing that.
Yeah, I was looking at could he maybe trying to just dump the cue ball in this bottom right hand corner and use the yellow that is new as some sort of blocker, but it looks like he's chasing something here. He needs it. Not the worst nudge.
Excellent pot again, good nudge, but he still has to find that angle to develop the yellows.
Horrible situation for a pool player where you're finding that you're chasing a finish that you don't really want to go for, knowing that it's low percentage, but sometimes you have to.
Do you think this is a situation where a player's playing their opponent rather than the balls? Because he was just trying to pinch the pocket a fraction there.
I do think it's the modern pool player's way as well, though. You know, like I said to you, it's aggression first. There was no real inkling of even particularly looking for a safety shot there.
He probably just dismissed it when he first came to the table. Said, "I don't feel there's any good safety options here. Right, I'm going all out." But that was a low percentage finish he's taken on there, and it should cost him the frame. Be interesting one to know if he was playing, you know, arguably a lesser player or a less tactically equipped player, whether he would have tried to play some sort of safety shot.
I think mentally, it's quite a strange one as well, because you all feel like, you know, he's sat there thinking, have I kind of sold out? Have I kind of just sold out to Neil there? But on the other hand, you know, he's also thinking, well, I'd rather get beat by playing a positive shot than a safety shot. It's really tricky sometimes.
That shows you the level of confidence he's got at the moment, that he fancied the chance with the clearance there. Well, either way, it's cost him the frame, and he goes behind 3-2. It's a race to 7, but we're also playing with a 40-minute match clock. The clock does stop when the balls are being racked up, and we're just gone over the halfway mark in this match. So it's something that the players will just keep an eye on. Whatever the score is at the end of the clock is the final score. So even if a player doesn't reach 7, if you're ahead when the clock runs out, you will go through. If it is tied when the clock runs out, we will go to a 6-red shootout, which is, if you haven't seen it, a lot of fun for us. Not so much fun for the players, where we get 6 reds racked up, and whichever player can clear the 6 reds in the quickest time will go through. We will see.
A 6-red shootout's good if you're in the commentary box.
Yes, definitely. And if you're watching, but maybe not so much for the players, and you know firsthand because you've been involved in a couple.
I love the shootout from here.
Yeah, absolutely. So much drama. We will see plenty of those throughout the weekend, I'm sure, especially as we go into the quarterfinals and beyond. Another excellent break from Shane Thompson.
Yeah, and he won't be too disappointed with those, I'm sure. So on this occasion, a big break, and looks like he's been rewarded.
Just looking at the reds here with the yellow not going to the top left.
Red ball's in play.
Played that one nicely, just careful not to tie those 2 reds together at the top of the table. Now all the reds in the open. And now it's about picking your route and controlling the cue ball, which Shane Thompson has done just about better than anyone else in 2021. From the commentary box, I'm always trying to pick the problems, the areas that things could go wrong, but when Shane's at the table, he just gives you such a level of confidence. It's hard to build drama in this finish. It's just there for him.
I mean, it's just interesting how people see the patterns differently. Like, Shane's going to play the red here, I would think, or at least he intended to play right centre, which I can see that. I mean, he can play top left. See, I'd like to be on the one he's playing now, without the one top left still being there, and play the red in the other centre. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, absolutely.
You know, but as I said, he's supreme confidence in his cue ball control out there, that he doesn't feel like he wants to edge his bets in any way. Like, if I don't land on one, I can land on another. He's very, very confident he's getting the cue ball where he wants it to be.
Just a little bit of slide off the cushion there. Tried to check it up a fraction, but he's okay. Just got to drop this one through.
It's very neat, very tidy, very controlled. For any of the amateurs out there watching, you know, this is the art of the game. Minimal cue ball control, shot selection.
I'd say the biggest fundamental in the game is the patterns and cue ball control that goes with it. Brilliant stuff from Shane Thompson once again. Back-to-back clearances from his own break, and we are all tied up once again with 15 minutes left in this match. And it could still go either way. Brilliant stuff from once again from Shane, but that's just gives you that confidence that it's never going to go wrong the way he's playing.
Well, no, and again, you know, to those at home watching, you know, that perceived to be the good potters of balls, as we hear a lot, you know, he's a good potter or she's a good potter. You know, the key to the game isn't being a good potter. It's the cue ball control, it's the shot selection, it's the patterns.
Well, when you reach this level, everybody in the tournament, everybody in the game is good potters.
Yeah.
It doesn't separate. You can't separate yourself from anybody through your potting ability.
Of course not. And as Gareth alluded to with Shane, he's got such a good touch in the balls, you know. So it's
much better break. Well, the last break was very good, but much better control of the cue ball. Where's the 8-ball? Stays on the table. Golden break in operation for this tournament. If you make the 8-ball off the break, you win the frame. If you make the 8-ball and pot the cue ball or foul, you lose the frame.
And Neil will be thinking now, well, where's my nice spread? Where have I got work to do?
Yeah, and he's got lots of work to do as well.
Oh my word.
Foul.
That is brutal.
Ball in hand.
That is brutal. It's so brutal because he only has to be on yellows. Once he's on yellows, he's in such big control where the 8-ball is and where the red ball is. So he pots the yellow and he's kind of... He's not, even if he doesn't clear at that visit...
He's ahead in the frame.
He's ahead in the frame, yeah.
Shane might try and get this yellow out. He has, but he's made it more awkward.
Yellow balls in play.
He'll be disappointed with that, Shane, actually, with ball in hand. A direct screw shot would be well within his repertoire of getting that. I wonder if he's landed on the double.
He's going after it.
Are we just starting to see things happen a little bit here for Shane Thompson and not for Neil Raybone?
Yeah, well, 2 bits of frustration for Neil back to back with the way the break finished up and then the first shot after it. And that a little bit fortunate for Shane, as you say, to land nicely on the double. Still needs to put the finishing touches to this one. Good shot required here.
Nicely cued.
So following a foul in international 8-ball rules, it's cue ball on the table, cue ball in hand anywhere on the table, but that's it. You don't get any extra shots, free shots, anything like that. You have to go about your work from there.
Feels so harsh as well for Neil, doesn't it? How he's happened to going off as well.
Yeah, and as you say, even if Shane didn't clear up here, which is hard to believe, but even if he didn't, Reds are absolutely horrible in terms of trying to get back into the frame.
For being ultra critical to Neil, maybe he could have had a little bit more say in the control over the cue ball, possibly. It's hard to know how thin the potting angle was from here. Only he really knows that. And you can't be giving Shane Thompson ball in hand.
No, so good. And he even got around that slightly loose cannon at the start with a good double. And he's back in front. 4-3, 3 frames away from the next round. And he, as he always does, looks very relaxed. And Neil looks a bit more like he's got plenty to think about. Especially with it being... That's a frame that's gone against the head because it's Shane Thompson's break next. And Shane's cleared his last 2 breaks. So he's got a sort of roll going with his break now. And he'll be sat in his chair thinking, good chance off my break now and I can open up a lead absolutely at the right time. As we head into the last 10 minutes of the match, I think there's 13 minutes and change left. We can just see in the background there, 12 minutes 46 left on the clock. Once we go into the last 10 minutes, it is 15 seconds a shot, so things will speed up just a fraction. Shane's really got the control of that break going now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That cue ball's tracking right up the centre of the table every break.
I think he may have even took a little bit off this one. Yeah, it was only really a kind of a pop, wasn't it, compared to the other two?
Yep.
I think he probably realised that the table's breaking well enough that he didn't need maximum power.
And maybe why they didn't open up quite as well as previous breaks.
And these yellows look quite nice.
Yeah, it's a layout that looks messier than it is. It looks clustered together in the centre, but actually all the yellows still have pockets.
Yeah. He's just got to mind his work a little bit. The one below the 8, he could play on that one next into the same pocket, below to the left of the 8. If he gets on that good, I think he's out. That's what he's played, and he's got there. He played that very nicely. He played that with like a swinging kind of right-hand side as opposed to a stun shot. Much easier to control. Anywhere on the blue spot here? Well, so the blue spot. We're playing pool, of course, but, you know, referring to...
We all know what you mean, yeah, absolutely.
It always helps the viewers at home, I think, because obviously they relate to seeing a lot of snooker on the TV.
The question was going to be, can you get on that yellow by the 8 ball without having to move the 8 ball? It looks like he's going to just have a gentle, controlled nudge on the 8 ball here.
Just nip off it. He just wants to just nip it, doesn't he? Just so the 8 ball doesn't move too far.
That's lovely. That really is lovely control. You can see the path of that 8 ball. He only has to hit that a fraction harder, and it's tied up with that red at the bottom of the table.
Be careful, Shane.
Three break clearances on the trot for Shane Thompson. Opens up a 2-frame lead. The first 2-frame lead we've had in this match. 5-3 ahead. 2 frames away from the last 16 and in a very comfortable position. Mick, when you've got a player playing like Shane is now with their own break, does that just ramp up? Do you feel that extra pressure in your chair that now it's on Neil's serve? If he doesn't respond, he's in trouble.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I know sometimes we refer to it like the serve in tennis. It isn't quite like the serve in tennis because you've got more control over the dictating the serve in tennis. It's more in your own hands. Obviously, here's do you get a ball, don't you get a ball, and how do they sit afterwards, even if you hit them really good. But there are spells out there where you just feel like you're going to get outbroken. Neil probably, from us, commentating on this, to me it looks like Neil's going to get outbroke, even if he takes his chances, You
feel like he's going to get less chances because of it. Certainly been the case in this match, and as we say that, he's come up dry on his break.
Yeah, and with Neil, you kind of, if you're in Neil's camp, you're almost thinking, well, we hope a ball drops in. Whereas when Shane breaks, you're almost expecting a ball to drop in. And that is sometimes down to obviously the way that the ball is struck, and also a little bit kind of being in the moment. It's for all Shane's great play. He's on a crest of a wave with things happening as well. I mean, you need that.
Yeah, you feel it's just every time you come to the table, you're just seeing chances and you're controlling it. This time he doesn't control the cue ball, but you may have just heard that beep in the background. That just signifies we are into the last 10 minutes and the 15 seconds a shot.
So, a slightly sloppy one from Shane. Chip off this ball and nudge the one down. Yeah. A little bit pacey, but...
Will Shane chase it this time?
Well, of course, in international rules, we know that blocking the bottom right-hand pocket with the red is completely useless to him. Because it's what I like to call the turnover shot, the pass-over shot, where you hit your ball first and pot your opponent, and it's just loss of turn. So he's no advantage by covering the bottom right. If that's what... Maybe just double this up and down and pot the yellow. That's what he played. I like that shot because even if you don't get it, I'd say if that yellow doesn't drop, red's a favourite here. And in any other rule set, yellow's a big favourite. But he pots the ball here and rests the cue ball on the back of the other red.
Loss of turn.
Little flip over to left-handed from Shane Thompson,
Yeah.
but plays the shot you talked about, get the yellow off the table.
He would have liked the cue ball to have travelled another 2 or 3 inches and nestled on the back of his own red, but playing with the opposite hand, I suppose. Beggars can't be choosers. And it's all happened here.
He's potted the cue ball, which he did not want to do, obviously.
Ball in hand.
For a second there, watching the 8 ball go close to the left centre pocket as well. Let's have a look. There's a lot happening in this shot.
It was a bit of shot clock panic, I think.
He's actually a little bit unlucky to pot the cue ball the way he did. But he's handed Shane a great chance to get to 6, get 1 frame away with not much time left in this match.
He's a little pacey there. He would have liked to have been on the top red of the 2 on the right there. Touch pacey.
The only good news for Neil Raybone in that previous shot was where he's knocked the 8 ball to. He's just knocked it to a position where it's not guaranteed, although it's still comfortable for a double, and it goes top left.
Let me tell you, Simon, Shane's lost a bit of concentration here. He's lost a little bit of concentration here and made these a lot harder than what they need to be. The 8 ball's a hanger because of the big pocket top left. The yellow ball is making the 8 ball unmissable top left. That's a nice shot. Can he get there though? Can he get to play top left, or does he have to play a position?
He's going to play for it bottom left, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's got a choice. So
he's done well to recover from the loose first positional shot. That was a lovely nudge to go into the 2 yellows and open them up.
I agree, indeed.
And
Excellent.
right in the heart with that 8 ball. 3 frames in front with 6 minutes 19 seconds left on the clock. But more importantly for Shane Thompson, he's 1 frame away from the last 16. And you might be right there, Mick, with the way he maybe just, as we've gone into that 15 seconds, he's just a little bit more rushed on his thought process and therefore losing a little bit of control with that cue ball, but still good enough to come up with the goods and get out.
Yeah, and again, you know, because he's so confident and because he's playing so well, he was able to reassess, you know, the fact that he kind of lost his way a little bit, probably concentration as opposed to anything else.
Leading 6 frames to 3.
But ultimately, at the end, again, a nice finish. And
his break and see if he can wrap it up without the clock running out, but he'll be very comfortable with the position he's in.
centre pocket for the rector. Oh.
For a second there, I thought he was going to win this one with a golden break. Watch the 8 ball, very close, tracking to that corner pocket.
Yellow ball's in play.
So once again, big break from Shane. So well, we went to the 10th game here. So he's had 5 breaks. My maths is correct. And this will be his 4th break and finish in 5. And the one that he didn't break and finish, he broke dry.
Yeah, that's a very, very high level, isn't it?
I mean, it's
hard to play against because, you know, it puts so much pressure on your break.
It's superb. I mean, it's...
And, of course, he's done one or two of Neil's as well. Very, very high level. But in truth, we've talked about it the whole match, is what he's done all year long. Just complete control of everything he's doing out there, making the game look a lot easier than it really is. 2 balls away from the last 16 for Shane Thompson.
Great performance.
What a way to start the Ultimate Pool Pro Cup. The #1 player, Shane Thompson, gets the win with a 7-3 victory over Neil Raybone. Incredible performance, very high quality breaking, and he will move on to the last 16.